Namaste, viewers, and welcome to Amazing Vedas with Dr. Parikshit Singh. And as Dr. Singh says, Veda is like our Big Bang. Everything is in it in very concentrated, a zip file, a zip of a zip to the power of whatever, n. So, a lot of meditation, viewers, has to do with, observation, with seeing, with pasha. And Pasha also, of course, links to Vaka, the Paravak, and all that. But Dr. Singh, without further ado, you had a wonderful tweet on this on the X platform where I invite all of our viewers to follow our, flow from the Vedic, whatever source to contemporary times on X, these short tweets. So, Dr. Singh, please give us your views on Pasha.
Vedic meditation. This was probably the first one, and we will talk about the concept of Vedic meditation some other day. But locate the Agni. Pasha. Be still. Watch. Look quietly. Is there any light within? Don't tell anyone. No need to report to anyone. There are no rewards for finding. Look at everything as it is. No name tags needed. Is there someone looking, or is there looking without someone? Is the light separate from the seeing? This is the first meditation on seeing. Pash, to see.
Yes, wonderful. Pasha. You can also say to watch.
That's
And,
right.
watch has so many meanings once again. And, once again, somehow I'm reminded of Krishnamurti, who says the observer is the observed.
Yes.
So when you say light, I mean, who sees the light? Who sees the seeing? The seer seeing. What is the connection between them? Drik, Drishya, Viveka, as the great Shankara said. So usually what happens, why I think this, this tweet, this meditation is so important is we're constantly focusing on the object, but we have to find out who is it that observes the object. Who's the watcher, who's the seer, and that takes you into a fantastic zone. And as you said, where is the light? Is the light inside, or is the only light outside? I think these are profound questions. And again, a lot of people I know practice this form of Buddhist meditation called Vipashana. Now, I mean, they of course mispronounce it. They say Vipassana. It is not Vipassana. It is Vipassana, which is in Pali. But it comes from the Sanskrit Vipashana. So Vi as a prefix means Vishesha, something different, special, like Jnana and Vijnana, So Vi. It's very interesting. Maybe that's where we get the word very from. That is something that is different, extreme, alter, whatever. So Vipassana fundamentally is a special form of seeing. And what the Buddha actually taught for those who have done Vipassana, he basically was trying to say to you that if you observe yourself, if you observe starting with your breath, which they called anapana sati. Okay, that sati is actually smriti, right? So prana, apana, smriti. That is breathing in, breathing out. Just the
Yes.
observation of breath. And then, of course, those who have done vipassana, they show you, how to rotate your consciousness, from the tip of your head, the crown of your head, right to the tip of your toe. And it does something. You begin to see that the body, which you considered so solid, so almost so permanent, though it's changing every moment, you begin to see as you go deeper and deeper, you begin to see it's not solid. It's like a wave, And you go further into all of this, but it's really a form of seeing. So I was wondering if when you try to bring it back to the Vedas and Pasha, did you have some of these things in mind that that the foundation or the basic process of meditation is observation?
Yes, it is. And Pasha is a very powerful word that is used in the Veda. A lot of uh, words that are associated with seeing are part of the Veda. So you will have Pasha, of course, Drashya, then Akshi, that's eyes,
Chakshu.
and Chakshu. Loka itself is Lochana. Loka is that which is in your frame, the field of seeing. What a
And that's
beautiful
how you
definition.
get aloka. That is
Alok,
because
that's
you're
right.
seeing with light.
That's right. So it is very interesting, and the concept, the understanding that our rishis had was when you see
Just
some.
1 second. When we say lochana, it's the same word as look. Loka,
Yes,
look,
it is.
look.
Yes,
So
yes,
lochana. So
yes,
Sanskrit and English, again, cognate. Go ahead.
yes,
Sorry to have
yes.
interrupted.
No,
Sorry.
no, absolutely, absolutely. So the understanding was when you behold something, there he comes again. When you behold something with complete attention or pasya, then you control that. Pash is also to bind, from which comes the word pashu.
Pashu.
That which you have bound is a pashu. But the world, if you want to control the powers, you learn to see them. You learn to see, and that is the power that seeing. If your seeing is clear, you control that. What a beautiful insight! If please excuse the pun, but what a beautiful insight. We need to open our eyes and look. If we look at the world, we control the world.
Exactly. Outlook and insight.
Yes, yes, yes. So our the seeing was a very powerful, of course, but is one of the defining faculties of humanity, and this seeing goes to a deeper perception. In fact, Louis Renou, the definition of dhi, when someone asked him what dhi is, he called it the inner seeing. So we talked about dhi in another, and I did not bring up dhi. Now, when I started with the Veda, I read a lot of Western writers. And I must say now that when the Western writers began, Max Muller or Mokshamul, as some people called him, with
Griffith.
Sanskrit, right? Griffith and all, they were very, uh, how do I put it nicely, colonialistic. Shall I say that? I'm sorry, but
And
they did
literal
some good
minded.
things.
Very literal minded.
Yes, very literal, but also they had a superiority. They were superior, but they realized there was something special here in the Veda, but still they felt superior. After all, they were ruling the the natives. But the newer ones who are don't have that baggage of colonialism, so to speak, have a better insight. So this Pasha concept actually came to me from Louis Renou, and he says dhi is an inner seeing. When you are seeing inside, this is not from the eyes, an inner seeing without any sense organ. He calls it dhi. Very beautiful definition. Uh, and again, now you see, pun intended again, seeing and dhi become one. They're not separate. If you consider dhi as an inner seeing, inner holding, then suddenly seeing and dhi become one. And again, it's a way to perceive. Seeing is usually considered passive, but seeing becomes a very powerful force going outward when we come to Agni. Agni is a witness. In our Sakshi, Akshi, Agni is a witness, but Agni is also force. So Chitta and Shakti become one. And somewhere the power of consciousness has a force. And so this seeing, this Pashya, concept of Akshi, concept of Drishya, Rishi, who is able to see the mantra, Rishio
Drashta,
mantra
drashta.
drishtaraha, and the highest, or Pashyanti Vak, where you see Vak itself. This keeps coming up again and again. And uh, our ancients realized the power of seeing is not just a passive, which is very powerful, recording, seeing, seeing the world, experiencing like a scientist, but seeing has a power of its own which transforms you and the world, and that is the Vedic
Exactly.
insight.
In fact, that is why we call, the way the guru gazes at you, we call it kripa drishti.
Padrish.
And we do have traditions in which initiation, the Shakti path, can only happen with that one gaze of the guru, you see, or of that enlightened master.
Yes, yes,
They look at you, it's a forceful gaze, it's not the passive gaze.
yes,
And that is why, as I was saying, the so-called looking out, outlook and insight are so deeply intertwined. So what is the third eye? The third eye is the eye of dhi, which is the eye, the supersensual eye, like the divya chakshu that Bhagwan Sri Krishna gives to Arjuna in order to see his Vishwarupa. So you have the ordinary eye and the ordinary sight of the ordinary eye, and then you have this divya chakshu, the divine eye, as it were, the enlightened eye,
the
and
Agya,
exactly the
the
third eye,
Agya
the,
Chakra.
the inner eye, and then we have all these words for eyes, as you said, and one of the words is netra and netritva. So because the eyes lead us, so, how beautifully these things combine. But to sum up, I think that the Vedas are trying to tell us that viewing is both active and passive. By that is meant that just looking can be the highest form of action, intervention. It can make things happen. It can change the world outside, but it can also receive. It can also be a
Yes,
way to receive the wisdom, to receive the truth, to receive the light, and to change. And also, vision is both physical, but it's also metaphysical. And there are levels of seeing, right? And that's how the looking, the low chana also becomes the very loka, the world, as it were, the seer and the seen. So it's called drishti shrishtivad in certain forms of Advaita Vedanta, which is that the loka, the world, the locus of where we are, that locus itself, that locus of attention, as it were, it is our attention that creates the locus of attention.
that's right.
So looking creates the world. And, at the quantum level, we see that, or we are told we can't see it because, you can't see a particle because the moment you see it, it's already changed.
Right.
So this unity, once again, going back to the oneness of what the Vedas are showing and what Krishnamurti said, the observer is the observed. What he really meant, I feel, is that you're not apart from all this that is around you. And there is no, primal alienation, which is like
Right.
the original sin. That is an imposition that you're
That's one.
actually. Anyhow, so your concluding thoughts on Pasha and Vipashya. I mean, the clarification with spectacles or without spectacles, the moment you start seeing clearly, you've flipped your world, you've flipped your reality, and you've changed that helplessness into tremendous empowerment.
In the fourth suktam, which is normally called the Indra Suktam, there's a very beautiful phrase that is used for about Indra, and they say prachami vipaschitam. So they call Indra vipaschitam, the wise one, the one who can see. And Indra, of course, is the one who is, Sri Aurobindo calls him the luminous mind,
Yes.
but our highest intelligence.
Medha. He's the Medhavi. He's the one.
That's right. That's right. So again, the seeing comes there in the understanding and the highest seeing, and then the final, the greatest eye, the sun. the eye of the universe is itself the one who is the Pushana, who sustains the universe, who is Savitu, who impels the universe. But Surya is called uh, the ultimate eye, and the one who is seeing through everything that happens. The sun has its eye on it. Now, obviously, this is a spiritual eye. This is not a physical eye. But even as a physical eye, it's a very potent metaphor and symbol.
Oh, totally. When you were talking, I was thinking about the words for interpretation in Hindi, in Sanskrit. It's samiksha, again,
Diksha.
iksha.
Yes.
So all the time, even we talked about anvikshiki,
Yes. And
that investigation into
that's right.
reality. So once again, it's all about seeing correctly. And it's in the
Yes.
Vedas, as you said, Indra is the one who sees correctly, who has
Yeah.
Vipashana, who
Yes.
sees it. And I suppose ultimately, I mean, we hold, and many people do, that Buddhism is not opposed to Vedism, if there's any such thing called Vedism. In fact, the fundamental ideas are there. And while you were talking, I was very struck. Yesterday, I was looking up some of these things, and I found that a later Upanishad, which is the Maitri Upanishad, it lists a different, it lists a different set than Patanjali. For example, Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, we already know, has dhyana, dharana, samadhi as the inner triad. But, let me just read out what the Maitri Upanishad, which is probably even later, has.
Yes.
It says pranayama, pratyahara, dhyana, dharana, tarka, and samadhi. Tarka, vitarka is vipashana, is pashana, is that Indra. It is that illumined mind. It is thought the paraclete. It is that, everybody is saying the mind is the monkey, the problem, but it's that mind, that tarka rishi, so to speak, that
You
illumined mind which can lead you to reality.
Tarka comes, the root is Arka. Arka is the sun.
Wow.
Arka, from which comes the word Rishi, from which comes the word Rig, that sun. So the Rishis are singers of the sun, singers of that light and sight. They are together. That is the great insight of the Rishis.
So, light, sight, and insight. Viewers, that is the summum bonum of meditation. I'll repeat it: light, sight, and insight. With
Insight.
that, thank you, Dr. Singh. Thank you, viewers. Please like, share, and subscribe, and join us in this journey of discovery and joy. Thank you so much. Namaste.